Welcome to practice. This is a chair yoga practice today, and I love chair yoga because the chair gives so much immediate, explicit feedback. Ideally, you would have a yoga chair, which is backless, and it's a metal folding chair. You don't need that, though, for this practice, and if all you have is a good sturdy dining room chair, that will work, or a folding chair that has a back. If chair yoga is something you're interested in playing with, you can get a chair like this from Amazon. It's called a yoga chair, folding chair, and they're about $60, $50 to $80, depending on the brand. And there's a tall height chair for really tall people. But we're going to use the chair. It's so juicy. It feels so good. You'll also want either 2 towels or 2 blankets, and that should do it, actually. You might want some blocks for the end of practice. So we're going to start standing up with our chair. So I'm going to take the chair and I'm going to fold the seat of it up. Now, if you don't have a folding chair and you're using a dining room chair, all you're going to do is come into Uttanasana, or a forward fold. If you do have a chair, you're going to line the chair up with your hip crease. And if that's uncomfortable, you can always place a blanket over the top of the chair and then start to hinge your butt back like you were doing a deadlift, so that the edge of the chair, again, finds the fold of the hip. And for a moment, you can just lean your hands into the chair and find a little bend in your knees, and then draw the heads of the arm bones back so that the chest is coming forward. You can see here now I've got a nice flat back and a curve in my spine. I'm lengthening through the crown of my head. Put yourself on a spit from your perineum up through the crown of the head, and then you can gently drape yourself over the chair. And you might feel like you need to step the feet back a couple inches. This is fine if you want to turn it. It's almost like it's in between a down dog and a forward fold. And then you can really let yourself drape forward over the chair. And there's lots of ways you can play here. Sometimes I like to take my arms forward, so I'm up on my fingertips, so it's like a very short downward facing dog, and I can put a little more weight into the ball of my foot. Or you can hold the bottom of the chair and give a little pressure back to support yourself, or really hang. Find a little tiny micro bend in the knee so that you're not locking out the knee joint, but that you're just nice and supported and still. And then drop into your breath. My mic's probably picking up my squeaky chair. It's making all kinds of sounds. And flow with your breath. You might sense that the breath is moving up from the perineum to the crown of the head, up the back. And then it's like water. The exhale just descends down the front of you. Take 3 more breaths. Again, if you don't have the chair, you're just folded over your legs. And then 1 more big full breath. Very good. And now to come up, make sure your feet are a little closer to the chair. Bring your hands to the bottom of the chair and do almost like a halfway lift. So a little bend in the knees, lengthen the front of the spine super long, and then crawl your hands up the chair and push all the way up to stand. Very nice. Unfold your chair. And one thing to know about working with yoga chairs is that depending on your height and different things, you might need to use a different number of blankets. So you might have to experiment and play around just a little bit. I'm going to place 1 blanket, or you can use a towel, like I said, on my chair. And then I'm going to place another blanket underneath of my feet. So it's really similar to when we do our standing hangs in our Katonah yoga practice, only here we have a seat to sit on. We're on a chair, but the rest of it is exactly the same. So I want you to measure between your feet so that you have 2 fists between the arches, and then sit back on the chair and really get the flesh of your seat back so that you're really upright on the perineum. Now, depending on the chair you have, if you don't have a metal chair, the back of the chair might be in a little bit of a funny place, but you can play around with it. Take your hands to the back of the chair first and hold on and then pop your chest forward, almost like a back bend. So you can see I'm starting to have a fold in the front of my hip crease, and I'm rotating my armpits towards my heart and lifting my chest. And really expand and use the resistance of the chair to pull yourself forward in the torso and to anchor your buttock bones back. Good. Now from here, keep folding forward in the hip crease. Send your buttock bones back and your chest forward and start to loosen the grip on the chair. When you can't hold on to the chair any longer, allow your belly to come to your thighs and then trace the floor with your fingertips forward till your knees come into your armpits, and just fold over your legs for a moment. You might even swing your right hand behind your right calf to find your left shin, and your left hand behind your left calf to find your right shin. And then draw the pubic bone and the belly and the sternum. Everything's traveling forward like a little back bend, just resisting the fold. Good. Undo that clasp if you took it. And now reach your fingertips back towards the chair. So you're extending the shoulders back. Plug the heads of the arm bones back. And now start to back bend to sit up. Peel your chest off of your thighs. And as soon as you can grab the chair and use that to assist yourself up and pull right back up to the start position. Very nice job. We're going to come down again, and this time we're going to take a rotation here. So take a nice deep breath in, start to hinge from the hip crease, send your butt back, and let your belly come to your thighs. When you can't hold on to the chair anymore, release it and drag your fingertips forward so that your knees come into your armpits. Good. We're going to take a spinal rotation here. So bring your left hand, I'm going to move my foot so you can see, to the inside of your left foot. So the heel of my hand is in line with the heel of my foot. And then from here, keep that hip distance apart. I want you to bring your hand, your right hand, to your sacrum so you have a handle on yourself. Push your left knee into your left shoulder and bend your left elbow into your left shin. Now I want you to look forward and back bend a little bit. Go forward, forward, forward. Anchor your buttock bone back. Keep going forward. Keep back bending. And now use the push of your left knee into the back of your left shoulder to spin around yourself and turn your chest to the to the right. And then maybe take your right arm up to the sky. Keep compressing your left elbow into your left shin. Keep squeezing your left knee into the back of your left shoulder, and keep back bending, lengthening forward and around, forward and around. Anything that spins really well is on a spit, right? If you picture, you might be a vegetarian, meat on a skewer, that's what allows it to spin. So put yourself on a spit, go forward, and then go around. So nice. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And now inhale, slowly come out of the rotation and just drape over the legs again. Let all the tension go. Good. So we're always coming forward and driving that knee into the armpit, and then the shoulder, the knee into the back of the shoulder, and that's where you're going to spin. So now from here, stretch your hands back. Again, the shoulders are extending. Draw the heads of the arm bones in. Start to find a little back bend to sit up. When you can find the chair, grab a hold of it and then pull yourself all the way up to your seat once again. You don't have to have the blanket for this twist. So if you're finding that that's too much or it's too much height, you can always remove the blanket. I'll do that on this side just so you can see. So once again, reach back for the chair and find a little sense of a back bend. Lift the chest, anchor the sitting bones back, and then fold forward at the hip crease. All the way forward. Drape the armpits over the knees. And now take your right hand to the inside of your right leg. So the heel of the right hand is making contact with the heel of the right foot. Bend your right elbow into your shin and take your right knee into the back of your right shoulder. Bring your left hand to your sacrum and then draw your spine forward. So in order to get the rise, to see around yourself, you still first have to go forward. So sense that there's a diagonal line between the right knee and the the left buttock bone and expand that diagonal line. And then lengthen again from your perineum to the navel, all the way to the sternum and through the crown of the head. Look forward and then start to spin around yourself to the left, bending the right elbow into the right shin, the right knee into the shoulder, and then take your left arm up to the sky, really spinning around yourself. And keep thinking that it's the forward and the spiral that's going to allow you to get that vision, maybe even your right eye looking all the way up at the ceiling, 180 degrees around yourself. So good. Very gently unravel that. So nice. Both hands back to the floor, knees in the armpits. Lengthen the front of the spine forward. Stretch your hands back towards the chair. Grab a hold of it as soon as you can and use it to help assist yourself all the way up. Very nice. We're going to play with a fold and unfold from the hip series. And depending on how low to the ground the chair is, like for me, this chair is a little bit short. Our chairs are all different heights in the studio, and I accidentally grabbed one of the short ones. So I'm actually going to put a second blanket here so that I can get more height so that it's not so far away from the floor. And if you wish, you can strap the thighs with a block between your legs so that you can really find a little more stability here. But this is going to depend on your size. So not everyone is going to have their feet hip distance apart with the block between the thighs. I'm going to use the block though for those of you that want to see this. So this is something you can play with. The block goes between the thighs. I always use these self-clipping straps. You can get them online, but they're a little easier to work with than the D-rings. I'm going to clip it in and I'm going to tighten this up so I don't have to work as hard. There's this good boundary around my thighs. And then I'm going to sit my thighs back on the chair, my hamstrings. You can also, for this, have the blanket under the heels if you wish, which will help to propel you forward. I'm going to leave that out for now, but if you want, you can set that up as well and play around with the different experiences. So same thing we did before, reach back and grab the chair and find that sense of the buttock bones moving back and the heads of the arm bones moving back and the torso moving forward. And then find this good fold in the hip, start to fold yourself down over your legs. Once you come down, I want you to take your arms alongside of your ears and your back flat to the floor and make fists in your hands so it's nice and punchy. Punch yourself forward and use that punch forward to come into the ball of the foot and lift your butt up off of the chair. Now start to back bend. Sit back into Utkatasana. So butt is not on the chair. You're lifting your chest. Now keep pushing all the way up to stand. Drive your pubic bone forward. Unfold the hips. So now the perineum is right over the arches of the feet. Good. We're going to reverse that. So squeeze the block if you have it. Send your butt back and sit back into chair pose. Keep reaching, bending the knees. Send your butt back till it finds the chair and sit all the way up. So nice. Release your arms. That can be a challenge and it can feel a little scary, like where is the chair behind me? So you might need to adjust how far to the edge of the chair you're sitting. If you're back a little bit farther so that it's kind of coming halfway up your hamstring, it might feel a little easier to find that chair. You'll start to gain more awareness, more proprioception in your body and how far away the chair is as you continue to work with it. So we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to play with the frame and the arms so that we have a different type of handle on ourselves. So take your left arm parallel to the floor and make a fist in your left hand. And now take your right hand, I don't know why, but this is like I Dream of Jeannie, your right hand to your left elbow. And now take that half a frame up alongside of your ear and wrap the left armpit towards your heart. So it's like you're spinning the pinky edge of your fist towards your face. And now unravel the fist and see if you can find your right elbow and just get what you can get. In time, you'll be able to find that good connection between the ball of the elbow and the mitt, which is the palm of the hand. Lift yourself up and off of your kidneys and then shift forward, sending your butt back and your chest forward till your belly makes contact with your thighs. Now imagine you had an imaginary friend in front of you grabbing your elbows and pulling that frame apart and forward, and lean forward into the balls of the foot. Good. So now start to unfold it. Lift your chest and sit into chair pose, Utkatasana, not in the chair, but chair pose. And now drive the pubic bone forward. Come all the way up to stand. Unfold it, drive the pubis forward, the thighs forward. So your perineum is right over the arches of your feet. So nice. And then bend your knees, send your butt back. Shift the butt back, butt back. Keep lifting your chest. Let your hamstrings find the chair and then sit all the way up. So nice. Undo the frame. Very good. We better do the other side using the elbows, the other side of the frame. It's actually genetic which arm you cross first. So one side is going to feel very, very strange. If you're not liking the strap and the block, you can always remove that. Again, it's not necessary. But if you're knock-kneed or you're someone who needs a little support and boundary in the outer thighs, it can feel super nice. So we're folding and unfolding. We're playing this ball and a mitt between the armpits and the knees and the elbow and the palm of the hand. And really what that's about, in one sense, is just learning to fit ourselves. I said in another vinyasa flow recently, like you're meant to fit yourself. You're not meant to fit everyone else. And when we learn to fit ourselves, it's such a freeing thing because you get to be your own personal universe that's interacting and also participating in another big universe. And that's such a glorious thing. So let's take the other side. Lift your right arm parallel to the floor. Make a fist in your right hand. Take your left arm across like I Dream of Jeannie. Grab the right elbow. Punch that frame forward and take it up alongside of your ears. Rotate the right armpit towards your heart. Lift up, 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 and then fold the right hand to the left elbow. So expand this frame in all directions. Imagine it's like a handle taking you up and off of your kidneys, and then fold from the hip crease, sending your butt back and your chest forward. Good. So it's like we're opening up our windows. The shoulder to the hip is like a door frame, our window to the lungs. So now shift forward into the ball of the foot, lift your butt off of the chair, and then sit back into chair pose. If you have the strap, push out into the strap. Keep pushing all the way up to stand. Take the thighs forward, the pubic bone forward, and back bend. Good, and then let's refold it. Send your butt back like chair pose. Keep sitting until your butt can find the chair. Lift up and sit up. So nice. Undo the arms. Really nice job. Undo the strap if you have it. Remove the block from between the thighs. Super nice job. We're going to move into a little interesting sequence that requires that you have 2 blocks. So if you don't have 2 blocks under the chair, you are going to want to skip this part. So coming up to stand, you'll take the blankets off of the chair. And now you need 2 blocks that are going to go underneath of the back of the chair. So the 2 blocks go here, underneath of the back of the chair. And this is a really, really important piece of this. The chair will fall over if you do not put blocks underneath of the chair. So do not try this if you don't have the blocks. And if you're using wood blocks and they're slippery at all, you're going to want to fold a mat over the blocks. And then a third block is going to be ready and available for you up at the top of the chair. The next thing you're going to want to do is take at least 1 blanket, potentially 2. And if you are don't have all the appropriate props, then this would be a nice time to put yourself in a legs up the wall pose or a downward facing dog, any little variation of another restorative pose that you might want to play with. So I've got my chair on my blocks at the back of the chair, and now I'm going to place my dominant knee, my right knee, on the bucket of the chair. And then from here, I'm going to slide my hands down the chair. And this can feel a little scary if you've never done this before. It's very stable as long as you have the chair on the blocks. And then I'm going to pull the chair up into my hip crease as I drape myself forward. And then I'm going to allow my feet to come up off of the floor. And here now, you can hold on to the bottom of the chair or your fingertips out in front of you and just very gently rock back and forth. And if this is too painful in the hip crease, I do know that this pose is not for everyone. So if it's uncomfortable, you can skip this, like I said, and do any other restorative pose on the chair. It feels really nice to some of us. So I've got a little bend in my knees. And again, I'm just letting myself rock back and forth. And then take this third block here and take one elbow on the block. I'm using my right elbow, and then cup the left elbow in the palm of the right hand. Find that frame over your head, and now sink. Allow the chest to sort of move between the gate of the shoulder. And I'm really hanging over the chair here so that I can open up into a little back bend, get good pressure on the front of my hips, a little bend in my knee, and then my feet are just dangling. And then I like to just find a good low belly breath here. There's so much expansiveness in the lower abdomen in this position, and you're so supported by the chair. So just breathe into the low belly. Good. And because I'm using a short chair, my elbows are going to come to the floor, but it's actually for most of people, they're going to kind of be hanging here. Take your hands off of the block. And again, find the frame. And like I said, I'm going to be touching the floor because I'm tall. But I'm going to let myself hang over the chair now. And I'm going to bend my right heel to my butt. And then I'm going to bend my left heel to my butt. And again, because the chair is resting on these blocks, it's not going to tip over. And I'm going to allow myself to hang over the chair with the chair in the fold of my hip. So it's like a little nice, sweet inversion. If you're shorter, it'll look like this. There, I'll lift my elbows up so you can see, though, that it is stable. But again, if you do this without the blocks, it will not be. Good. And then re-extend your legs. And listen, this is really important. Bring one foot to the floor, one hand to the chair until you can get your knee of your dominant leg onto the chair. And then you're going to crawl up the chair, hands on the chair to support yourself, and lift all the way up, nice and slow. Good. And then bring your feet to the floor. So nice. We're going to finish with a supported back bend. So here for today, we're just going to take a bridge pose without the chair. So really nice supported back bend on the chair, but the goal of this class was that it would be nice and short. So I'm not going to keep you here too much longer. So take 2 blocks on their highest height, and then bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Lift up your hips and place these 2 blocks on their highest height or on their lowest height, if you prefer, underneath of your sacrum. And then take your arms out nice and wide and up tall so that your armpits can be nice and open. And then just drop into your breath. Nice, slow, smooth, steady in-breath into the low belly, filling the belly, the chest, the throat, the head. And then reversing that from the head, the throat, the belly. You can close your eyes and just allow yourself to soften here. Just another couple rounds of breath here. Good. If it feels safer for you, you can take your hands and hold on to the blocks for a little more stability. Or if you're used to kind of playing here, you can keep your arms on the floor. Bring one knee up and then the other knee, and then stretch your legs up to the sky so that it's like you are letting your legs dangle even though they're up in the air. So there's a little flush, and the head of the femur bone, that ball is really resting in the acetabulum of the hip. That's the cup that it rests in the pelvis. You can roll out your ankles if you wish. Just really let the legs be heavy. It's really thinking that we're opening up the front body, this plane of potential, allowing the back of the sacrum to spread. Nice big full breathing. And then when you've had enough of that, you can lower one foot to the floor and then the other. And walk your feet in. This is optional as well. You can just take the supported bridge again, or walk your feet all the way in and come to the tops of the toes so that you're getting a nice stretch on the top of the foot and the top of the thigh. Sort of like a variation of a Supta Virasana. And then when you've had enough of that, bring the soles of the feet back to the floor. And then come onto the balls of the feet, lift your hips up, remove the blocks, and then try to lower butt first so that you're keeping the arch in the spine. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Take your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees fall in. Maybe a hand to a heart, a hand to belly. Just soften and spread the back of the sacrum on the mat. Really nice. And then extend the legs along the floor. And open up your palms towards the sky. And for a moment, just close your eyes and just catch the feeling of the body breathing. Not efforting to do anything, not manipulating or controlling the breath, but just feeling. Let the mask go so that the flesh of the face is hanging heavy and the eyeball is resting back in its socket. Know that the body, all it's doing is fulfilling its need for oxygen, and you can trust in its intelligence. And just feel your pretty pink lungs pumping, your heart beating. And pull your attention to your interior space and feel into the physical body. Feel the back body, the memory, making good contact with the floor, and the front body opening. Know that body is a house, and the first floor of the house, the lower body, your ground of being, is your tenacity and how you hold your ground. It's your personal footprint on the planet. Bring your attention into that whole region of the body and intentionally release it and let go. And then all your attention into the ground of doing, the second floor, your hands, your arms, your torso. This is the ground of doing. It's where we build capacity, where we create from. And intentionally release all of that. Let the back body melt in the floor, the front body spread. And then tune into the ground of seeing. Feel the whole of your head, the back of the skull, your eyeballs and their sockets, all the sensory organs that are on the ground of seeing. And then let it all go. And sense these bones in your body, which are made up of so much water and are malleable structures, and that know that structures inform organs. So as you find good form in these shapes and these poses, you inform the organs in this mystical, esoteric dialogue. And know that those bones are being held together by this intricate web of fascia and connective tissue and ligaments and joints. that there's these fluid sacs and this muscle that's made up of spirals and spheres everywhere in the body. And maybe tune into your curiosity and your wonder about the fact that most of the weight of a body is other microorganisms, that we are a universe to other beings contained in another universe that is so far beyond anything we can imagine. Just feel the entirety of you. And with the eyes closed now, you can really tune into other sensations, the taste of the mouth, the fragrance of the room around you, perhaps your own fragrance, the sounds from my room in the street that the mic might be picking up, and perhaps the sounds of your own street, the sounds below you and above you. We'll make a nice floppy fist in your right hand, like a loose right hand. And then gently beat the left side of your chest, the lung, the lymph, just feeling good somatic contact with yourself. The heart side of the body, the left kidney. Good, and then relax that and switch sides. Take your right hand in a nice floppy fist, and then very gently tap the right lung, maybe the thymus, which is under the sternum, the liver, whole right side of the body. And then rub your hands together nice and vigorous. And whatever you can reach, belly or thighs, just give yourself a little brush, maybe the abs, maybe the top of the pelvis, a little vigorous brush. And then just pause for a moment and feel the effect of that contact with yourself. And if you wish, you can stay here now and rest in Shavasana, or if you need to depart, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out the ankles and the wrists. And if you're finishing up practice, you can bend your knees and roll to a fetal position on your left side. And then use your right hand to press yourself up to a seat. And just pause and put yourself at the center of yourself. Rub your palms together in front of your face, get some nice heat. And then cup your palms over your eyes with your fingertips on your hairline. Open your eyes behind your hands, letting in the dark. And then release your palms and let in the light, and welcome yourself back. My name is Selena Garofino, and I am the founder and the creator of the Evolve Method. The Evolve Method is the result of 20-some years of my personal practice, almost 15 years of teaching, and over 6 years of running yoga teacher trainings. This program is anchored in classical yoga studies, personal development coaching with licensed professionals, and modern movement research. This really embodies what it is to be part of the Evolve Method. Our programs are systematic. Your 200-hour teacher training is a program that sets you up with all the kinesiological, the anatomical knowledge, the foundation of yoga history and philosophy, as well as a very strong anchoring in modern movement research and functional anatomy. And then out of that, when you learn this basic sequencing structure and this capacity to teach vinyasa, hatha yoga, and restorative yoga, you're able to build on that in our advanced programming, which teaches things like the energetics of asana, tantric teachings on mythology and embodying conscious myth in your teachings and in your practice. The program also has a ton of modern movement that comes to us from different mobility systems and joint health systems so that you can truly practice for longevity. We named this program the Evolve Method because it's about more than a physical practice. It's about you learning to navigate better every single area of your life to be the author of your story and your destiny, to live out your dreams and to bring your medicine to the world and really be able to serve. I'm so excited to give this offering to you, and I hope you'll consider joining us either online or in person.